puts up a tough shot. Passes around, goes in at the buzzer. Working it down to 2 on a deep three. Oh!
It's population.
That's how you win a game.
It's population. We hustle every day to find picks. You can tell us if you want to get rich. It's population. We robbing Underdog and PrizePicks. We the best in this biz. You ain't telling us shit. It's population. We love making money quick, fast. Cooking up a team card. The whole crew about to smash. It's population. We do it for the fam, so everybody let's cash. The dopest team you ever seen. Winning money, stacking G's. Boogie setting traps, but they'll never catch me. Some people get addicted like rats to the cheese, but I got one obligation to bring Johnny to his knees. Holding back the props till the morning he knows. They'll be fishing in the shack, plotting nukes with the bros. Only with Craw, never reload. Underrated to my amigos. We go with honest, we seeking the bloods. We know when a fucking cheat code. Party that I'm sweating, it can't be good for my health. Some may call it making bets, I call it investing in myself. I'm picking props like stocks. Population for the win. Got my sips in by the buzzer now. Let the games begin.
Unbelievable. Just happened. He did it.
It's population. It's population. It's population. We do it for the fam, so everybody let's cash.
Yo, what is up, guys? It is Thursday night, and we got decent sized Friday night slate. No E tonight. We got a late start, so I couldn't make it. I'm gonna briefly go through this because it is a small board as of right now, and yeah, since we got such a late start. But just briefly looking at these games, these are some low totals overall, right? The only total that's over 230 is the Bucks at the Lakers, which should be a good game to watch. And everything else is pretty low. I mean, we got two games that are under 210, and everything else around 220 or less. So yeah, maybe some unders to be had here. I think briefly, let's just double check teams that are on the back end of a back-to-back. We got the Heat and who else? I know there's one other team. I feel like there's someone else. Oh, Timberwolves. That's right. Yeah. So we'll check the news on that, especially Ant, because he turned his ankle in that game too. Went to the locker room twice, so I'm sure he's questionable for tomorrow. But we can double check. So we got two games starting. Normal time, 7:10 Eastern. Pelicans, Sixers. I never like taking Pelican props here. And the Sixers, I think, is Maxey still in concussion protocol? Let's see. He's already rolled out. Lowry's good to go. So we should see a lot of Lowry in campaign. Paul Reed started last game. Actually played pretty well, but I mean, no surprise. It's the one against the Grizzlies. To be honest, I have no interest. Maybe there's some unders to be had here. But yeah, I think with the Pelicans still giving up threes. Let's see if we have any 3-point props for guys like Buddy Hield. Yeah, see, we're only getting the Goblin or Demons for him. And I don't want to trust Tobias to make his threes.
Hey, we got a question.
This game might be a Passola.
Here, I can
Brenton Pierre or Zion assist. Zion assist. 5.5.
You seen the Branson PRA too?
Yeah. That game, I was going to get to next, right? Is that the... Yeah, I'll get to that game quickly. Let's check let's check the potentials from the last game or last couple games for the Pelicans. They're predicting their playmaking lately has been so hard and weird. Like I feel like Zion goes on this stretch where he's just like playmaking like crazy. A lot of times it's due to like Ingram or Collin being out, but sometimes he'll do it when they're both in. I just feel like it's random between all three of them, and then sometimes Ingram just dominates the playmaking as well. I just don't like the Pelicans in general. The last two games, just look at the last game. Why is Zion not on here? I don't know. Something's wrong with their potential assist tracker. It's not showing Zion at all. He wasn't out last three games, right? Like, for whatever reason, they're not showing Zion. Yeah, Zion. I always like Zion unders, but this is such a soft matchup. Philly defense is not the same without Embiid, and then having old man Larry out there and campaign, those two are traffic cones on the perimeter. But yeah, Zion unders has been real solid all season. Let's see, last game. Yeah, he played last game against Toronto. I thought so. I don't know why the potential is not tracking him. I think the Pelicans do bleed assists because they give up so much threes. But Lowry at 5.5 with campaign now getting healthy from the flu that he was dealing with. I think it's too high. If it was 4.5, I would consider it. But campaign's going to be playing more minutes. Oh, you know what? My bad, dude. It sometimes randomly sets it to the last season. Okay. All right, now let's look. My bad. All right. Yeah, last two games, Zion's leading, Ingram right behind him. No surprise. McCollum, I mean, lately, with them fully healthy, he's just been taking a real backseat on the playmaking, being a true two guard.
Bro, me and E take McCollum under all assists like every time. It's been so amazing.
Yeah. It's just a 3.5. I mean, when you get lines that low, even when guys are having potentials around 5, like they can just get lucky. Like Bam today, right? Like if they have a 3-point shooter who catches fire, like Bam had Duncan Robinson hit 5 straight threes and go 5 of 5.
So check it out, bro. On Fliff, when you can do live stuff right there, and you see Bam get those fake threes, as you'd say. I mean, fake assists.
Yeah.
And then live, the numbers up at like 5.5. Do you see?
What did he finish with?
He finished with 5, but he was at 5.5 when he had 2. So like when he had 4, bro, he was at like 7.5. You could just kill that under. I mean, obviously it's betting, but it's a great value.
Right, because guys like him lately. If you're tracking potentials, right, and you're tracking the number of passes the player's making in a set offense, like okay, overall in the course of a game, on average, the potentials that they have are around this number.
Right.
But if they have a quarter where like some guy catches fire, that's a great point. Like, yeah, they're gonna have a spike quarter because with assists you could have a spike quarter of assists. Like sometimes if you take an over in a guy's assists, you're like, oh man, and he only has like 1 assist out of the first quarter. You're like, he's toast. But then all of a sudden, like, second quarter starts and he racks up like 4 or 5 assists because his players start making their shots, right? Because it's all like a streak if a team gets on a roll and they're hitting their shots. So that's a good point.
It's math, right? It's math. It's just probability.
It is. But McCollum, I mean, 3.5. If he's passing off and
No.
Trey-
Yeah, no, I'm not saying
Murphy.
3.5. No, I totally feel you on that. We've been getting 5.5. That's all. It's been money. But I know what you're saying. But
Yeah, but
assists-
the live bet. Let's say he gets 3 immediate
Yeah.
in the first quarter, and they bump him to like 5.5 or 6 or whatever.
6.5, because he's already so
Yeah.
high. Yeah. Well, 3.5,
Yeah.
but yeah, he'll probably be 6.5 if he gets 3 quick ones.
Right. But I mean, any unders in this game is sketchy due to the matchup on the Pelican side, just because how bad Philly's been. Let's take a look at their overall assists in the backcourt. Middle of the road. They've been running a really slow pace lately too, Philly. Especially when Paul Reed starts. I don't know. Zion. 8-point spread. Pelicans fully healthy. Yeah, you can take it. If he continues to play make like this, or have these high potentials, but like I said, I never mess with Pelicans props, but I mean he's getting it done potential wise, averaging 14 over his last 2, and then he had 15 potential his last game. So favorable matchup against Toronto though.
I see
Really
Big
bad
Nug
for
in the
Reed.
chat. So
Under
what'd you
on
say?
Brunson.
No Zion and no McCollum, or Zion and McCollum? You didn't like either of them, right?
Oh, I wouldn't mess with McCollum over or under, and then Zion. I would say, I mean, just based on the potentials, I'd say maybe. I worry about blowout because the Pelicans. I mean, you've seen them fully healthy. They blew out the Pacers twice, and this Philly team is. They are not it.
What do you mean, Paul Reed?
But
Yeah.
yeah, Paul Reed. But I mean, if he continues to have 15 potentials, and he's lazy at times, I get it, man.
We went over his assists and he shit on us. Remember that?
Yeah.
I don't want that again.
I tend to stay away from him, bro.
But he can
Ingram over on points. I do not touch this dude, man. At all.
He's too inconsistent, right?
He's yeah.
And his lines are set high already.
Yeah. I mean, good matchup, but now that the Pelicans are fully healthy, and you have Trey Murphy who comes off the bench and gets hot, and then with CJ, if he gets hot from 3, I mean, you saw what happened, right? Like Trey Murphy last game went nuclear, right, for like 35 points, and Ingram missed the taco and had 12. I don't know. This is. If Zion was out or any of these other guys, but take a stab at it.
He's asking all the Pelicans questions.
What's his first half PRA at? 16. He plays. I mean, he plays a good amount, and he pretty much plays the entire first quarter. But I don't know. I don't like this game environment at all. But I get it.
Jones, yeah.
I get it. Yeah, Herb Jones went like crazy in the first quarter last game, so randomly making 3. That guy, talk about up and down. He's so up and down, man.
Hard to bet
He's
on.
either bricking everything and fouling, or
So no.
hitting quarter 3.
So no.
No, Pelicans to me, bro, they're the worst team to bet on. And just in terms of like volatility and guessing game, like I always thought like the Celtics were bad because you had to choose between like Jaylen Brown and Tatum, but we're kind of like figuring out their roles and how they are lately. And God, the Pelicans, man, yeah. And J-Val, you don't know what J-Val you're gonna get, right? Like some games he goes absolutely bonkers in the first half, and other times he does nothing, and then he ends up getting benched and they go Larry Nance, and it depends on matchup. I assume in this matchup, Philly, when they go small and they have Paul Reed out there, I'm sure Larry Nance is going to get more run. But I can't take the under Poole game because he gets that third quarter stint and he can just go off and get it done quickly against Paul Reed in this front court. Yeah, man, I don't know. Pelicans, they're not it. Unless when they have one or two guys out. What's up, Nugget? Ram 6 said Kyle Kuzma demon prop?
He's hitting you with these ones, huh?
Kuzma. Another one of my favorites. All right, what do we got? Demon prop. Which one we talking here? 3-point main, I assume? Points probably against Charlotte. Charlotte. I don't know, man.
Don't say they're good.
They're not good. They're awful. Offensively, their offensive metric, they're terrible. But Brandon Miller is not a bad on-ball defender, and I assume he's going to be on Kuz. But overall, defensively, yeah, they're bad. You get points. Yeah, as long as Poole doesn't stay on fire, right? Like Poole's on a heater, and whenever Poole gets on a heater, he stays on it for a bit. See when he gets off of it. I feel like Poole's production off the bench is definitely eating into some of the starter impact and usage. So yeah, it's right there on the line. But where's this game at? At Washington? That's good. That's good. All right, where were we? So yeah, I'm skipping that game. We can talk about this game now. What props do we have? Let's look at the Hornets. It sucks because we always like to attack the Wizards inside the paint, but Nick Richards, he came back from injury. Man, did he look bad. I can't trust him for anything. So, I mean, Miles Bridges, I mean, he should be able to get to the basket and score at ease here. But he had talk about a bad game. This guy, I mean, he shot, what did he shoot, 3-15 last game? I think they were saying when I was watching the game, the commentator said this was like one of the worst shooting performances they've seen in Hornets history. And I was like, wait, what? How is that possible? It's the Hornets, bro. No offense to Hornets fans, but I mean.
But offense to Hornets fans.
Which game was it, bro? Oh, man, it was.
You're saying who was shooting bad? Bridges?
Miles Bridges.
Yeah.
Oh, so it was embarrassing. The commentators were saying.
It was funny when he actually got a bunch of time when the trades were happening and he was balling when he very first had the team to himself for a minute. Remember his line was up at like 40 PRA.
Yeah. I mean, he's still playing big minutes, right? Yeah, he shot 3-16.
Yeah,
3-16.
Yeah, it's like we're scared because we got burned a couple times, but now he's come back to earth a little bit.
Ram 6, he played so bad, bro. I mean, this whole team did, right? Like, there's only one player to go over 20, and it was the EuroLeague go Micic, who's not even. I mean, he's more of like a do-it-all kind of guy, playmaker.
Who is Ram?
And
said
he
it
was
best.
the leading scorer. Oh my god!
He said it best, like absolute shit. He said.
Yep, absolute. I am. Oh man.
People saw how
it's so tempting, right? Because it's
Josh. Sorry, bro. People saw so many plays that you said earlier today that hit. Now they're all asking you. Look, they're asking you different questions now. They're like, "Hey, bro, what's the next one, bro? We're waiting for the next one, bro."
Oh yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. The afternoon stream we did, I think we brought up like 6 plays. All of them hit, but Jimmy, he just didn't show up today. Happens, right? He didn't have it, man. He didn't have it.
Jimmy.
But I will say,
To be like, nah,
speaking
your
of
play's
worst,
not good, bro. Nah.
no. But speaking of the worst, this is the Hornets. Man, it's tempting, right? Like, this is the Wizards. We always attack the Wizards. Man, terrible defense, fast pace, top 5 pace. But can we trust any of these guys?
Hell no.
Can
Hell
we
no.
trust any of them?
No.
I mean, Miles Bridges is in probably the best spot here, being how he attacks the basket.
His lines are too high though already.
Okay, I'll say this. Let's look out for his dunk prop and Nick Richards' dunk prop.
Okay.
I'd
fair.
consider that.
Yeah. Can you
But
see that
I don't know.
Can you see that on the screen? Can you see Nuggets comment?
Uh,
I'm just gonna throw it
yeah.
there.
Yeah, Giannis. Nug loves him some 0.5 3-point made.
Why?
Well, Giannis has been hitting them.
Those are Nerfies.
Yeah, we'll ride with Nug. We'll throw it on there. Yeah, he's been hitting them.
Wow.
Lakers give up threes. We'll get to that. We'll look at his 3-point volume. But wait, back to where was it? Let's look at the odds on these Hornets. All right. I mean, we're getting somewhat of a discount on Miles. I mean, it's not much juice on the under 22.5. But right now we're getting him at 21.5. So it probably goes up, right, to 22.5 by tomorrow, just due to the matchup. But
It shouldn't.
if we get his 0.5 dunk, I'll consider it. Just due to the pace of the Wizards and how much transition points they give up and off of turnovers, and you get a fast break dunk. But Nick Richards scares me so bad. He played 27 minutes and this dude took 2 shots. Like, that's the definition of wind sprint and elite cardio. I mean, 27 minutes and you're going to take 2 shots? I mean, he had just as many fouls and turnovers than his field goal attempt.
Josh, no more clowning people. We want to find winning plays. Unless we're taking that under.
I know.
Unless we're taking that under.
I'm thinking out loud. No, I can't take unders.
I'm just kidding.
I can't take unders against the Wizards. But, I mean,
I like
it. They give up the most points to, like, the small forward position, power. I mean, all the forwards, and then most points to centers. So, with all that combined, it's got to be Miles, right? If I had to choose, it's got to be Miles. But does he bounce back, or does he stay on this I don't give a shit attitude? That's what it seemed like when I was watching the game.
It's not a comfortable click.
It's not. And quickly, I wanted to look at Denny. I think his fantasy is definitely live here. Just want to look at the rotations. Okay. I want to see if he had the same rebound potential that he had the previous game with and now with Bagley out. I want to see what the rebound potentials look like here. And then we can move on, unless anyone has anything else. Nuggets, you got to believe. Digital print, Capella over 10.5 points. Oh, is triple Triple J's already rolled out? Okay, cool. Thanks for the update. I've not looked at the Memphis news yet. Where was I? Rebound potentials. It's a good rebounding spot, right? Like this, with the pace in this game and the amount of bricks going up from these two teams, it should be a ton of rebounds. All right, last game. Let's see, with Bagley out, what's the rebound distribution here? Why did you put me on Oklahoma? NBA.com sometimes, man. I'm not on. Okay. Denny's still leading, 16. All right, let's look at the potentials in the passing. Denny's up there, not too far behind Tyus. What do we have his RA? 12.5.
Too high.
It is too high. What's his rebounds? Is it? Don't tell me it's 8.5 again. We didn't even get it. Let's see if this is something we can bet on Fliff. What's it at?
The rebounds?
Yeah.
I'll look.
I mean, usually the PrizePicks doesn't give us a line. It's favorable. Oh, it's at 8.5. I mean, yeah, there's juice on the over, but
Too high.
I was hoping for 7.5 because what happened last time with last game with Bagley out, they opened him at 8.5 and then they eventually bumped him down to 7.5.
Yeah, that sounds a lot better. 8.5's tough.
It is. I mean, Kuzma you could consider. I mean, especially when he plays the at the 5 because he starts at the 5, and then Rashawn Holmes checks in for him.
We want more comfortable clicks than that. Like Giannis.
Yeah, I just don't know what Washington's gonna do because how big Nick Richards is. Because the last game with Bagley out, they bringing out Kuzma at the 5, but they were playing Utah, who started John Collins at the 5, so it was no problem. It was like an even matchup there. Maybe they have to start Eugene or Rashawn here to match Nick Richards. Size, not height, but just overall size. Okay. How do he continues to stay under his rebounds, but it's right there in the line, and Charlotte's going to throw up a lot of bricks, so could be risky taking the under. Any unders in this game could be risky if you land on the wrong guy because both bad defenses, fast pace. Yeah, I would maybe consider Denny's fantasy here if it's still at 30 or 29. I think it's a good fantasy spot for him. Let's just quickly check what he finished with. Yeah, I mean, if he keeps, whenever he's playing 35, 36 minutes, he keeps playing those minutes, I'm sure he's averaging over a fantasy point per minute. Especially with Bagley out. So, yeah, I like it. Just gonna quickly check. This is good to look at. Gonna take Marvin Bagley off the court. I'm gonna put Denny on the court. Yep. Okay. So he's right at 1 fantasy point per minute. So if he plays 35 minutes, you do the math. That's 35 fantasy for his average with Bagley off the court, him on the court. Let's take off. Let me just take off Gafford since he's no longer on the team. .96 and Kuzma's at 1.12, which makes sense, right? Because if he's been playing at the 5, and that just increases your rebound and stock potential. So I would say either Kuzma or Jenny's fantasy I would consider depending on the line. So given the matchup and them being involved in the front court. How do we feel about? All right, so people asking about Clint Capella's points. Let's take a look at that. Let's just look about Clint. I mean, yeah. I mean, against Memphis. And let's check the status on Triple J. Not that it really matters because he doesn't really, play a traditional center defensive spot. He's more of like where he's really good at is being a roamer and help defender and coming over, sliding over, and getting the blocks. Traditionally over his career, so. Because you saw what Paul Reed just did to Memphis with Triple J playing. I don't see any updated news here. But they have no reason to play him lately, and that's why it just seems like they've been shutting him down in tank mode. Yeah. I think it's pretty solid. I think it's a good rebound spot for him too. So I would say his PR over his worst points. Let's look at it. Let's look at his rotation real quick. Is there advantage taking his first half versus full game here? Especially, is this game in Atlanta? It's in Memphis. Okay. All right. Let's look at his rotation. They still have him on a minute cap. He's still in the mid 20 range, huh?
Even without a Conwo too?
Yeah, I just think they're just still easing him back in.
Ooh.
Round 6. Yeah, this is a great spot for him to get 10 plus points for sure. I think if Triple J is out, I think they'll probably start Jamison back at center. And he is pretty bad. But the problem with him is his shot volume is pretty low, so maybe you wouldn't want the fantasy. I was thinking if you wanted to just take Clint's fantasy too for the stock upside, but Jameson, his usage and shot volume is pretty low. But if Triple J is playing, maybe you consider it. But Triple J takes a lot of outside shots too. So let's see over this last 7 games at least, fantasy-wise, what Memphis is giving up to the center position here. They're giving up blocks for sure. Top 3 in blocks as centers. They're definitely giving up the points. Near the top 5. And then the rebounds. For sure. Let me quickly check. Let's look at his first quarter points here. Let's see what the odds are. So it's 2.5. It's juice on the under. So that means we probably won't get it. Okay. Yeah, I think it's a pretty low line in a really easy matchup here. What's his first half? Is his first half 5.5? Five flat. Yeah. Paying a little bit of tax for the first half because you got that up as 10. So 9.5 is probably better value. Get with that. Or I mean, even the PR, but yeah, Jalen Johnson can eat into his rebound potential. So it's just the thing with Clint is the usage is so low, right? So but those offensive rebound putbacks he gets, and then the lobs. Look out for his dunk prop too.
You're betting on some rebounds. You're betting on him being in the right spot. Right?
Yeah, but it's a good matchup. Yep. Okay. Where were we? Let's make sure we're not staying on track here. A lot of these games we don't have because the teams that are on back-to-back, they don't usually give them the night before or they're much later. Magic Knicks. I assume Wendell's going to be back. Oh my gosh, that total. That should be a pretty slow-paced game. And someone asked about Brunson's PRA. Is he gonna play? Is he for sure gonna play? Because he's been in and out.
He was saying the under also.
Right. But is he actually? Are you seeing news on him? Is he actually gonna play?
I'll look.
Because he's been in and out, right? Ram 6 said we checked out Bankero's Demon Slope. Let's take a look in here in a second. Bro, Magic have actually they've been giving it up to point guard scoring wise. But if he's not fully healthy, I mean over the last 15 games they're near top 5 in points allowed. They're giving up the 3 ball for sure. But yeah, what's his injury status?
He's questionable.
Yeah. So I'll hold off on breaking that down more, but yeah, Wizards, they gave the Magic the biz last game. Everyone was scoring. They were hitting a lot of threes too. Bankero, I think talking about his demon point prop. 24.5.
Do you ever feel like with the Brunson play, because he's questionable, do you ever feel like maybe he'll try to play, but maybe he'll still be injured, and maybe he'll come in and you're taking the under already? Does it ever make you lean that way? If you're like, oh, he's coming back, he might play half, he might play a quarter and hurt himself, whatever. Do you ever put that in
right
thought process?
Or
not?
Oh yeah, for sure. But the thing is, don't you think sometimes when a player that is questionable is ruled in, and say they're ruled in early, they bump their props up more. So if you wanted the under, it'd be better to wait and take it until he's like confirmed in, especially if they're confirmed in early in the day. Because right now he's pretty low at 39.5 for him, and then let's say he's rolled in the morning, they probably bump him up, right?
I don't know.
Sometimes I've seen that, so I don't know. Bankero's yeah. Man, well Tibbs, you never know with Tibbs, right? Man, like he runs his players into the ground. 40 minutes a game, doesn't care, but yeah, I mean, it would make sense here. But this is somewhat of an important Eastern Conference matchup, right? In terms of seeding, let's check the Eastern Conference standings because we're getting near that time. Less than 20 games left in the season where each of these in-conference games matter. Yeah, see, they're fighting for this 4 or 5 spot. They're neck and neck. So it's an important game for sure. Because you have the head-to-head record and then the in-conference record for tiebreakers. So, and I mean, yeah, all these teams, the Magic, Knicks, Heat, Sixers, they're all bunched here together in the 4 through 7 seed. So, I mean, they're probably not going to catch these other teams ahead of them. They're a lot of games back. So, yeah, I don't know. Hard to say. I don't know the extent of his injury. I haven't been tracking him. I tend to not play Nick props, to be honest, but unless it's in a real favorable spot. In Hardenstein, are his minutes fully back up? What's going on with him? I mean, he's looked really bad scoring wise. Like 20 minutes or less. Man. Yeah, that's pretty low PRA though for him. It's probably not even worth it. Tough matchup. Especially if Wendell is back and Jonathan Isaac. Jonathan Isaac and Wendell, they're fully healthy front court. Maybe. And then Precious minutes, they've been all over the place. Like his minutes are fully down. I mean, look at his PRA. I mean, he was just like over like what 30 to 35 PRA recently. I don't know. Tibbs used to play Precious 40 minutes a game, and now he's phasing out and he's playing Miles McBride as many minutes as he can handle now. Just switches off guys, runs them into the dirt until they run out of steam, and he goes to the next guy. He's playing, basically splitting Precious and Sims minutes up.
Get out there and run for 45 minutes. Go.
Yeah. I mean, let's track the news. I mean, if Brunson's not 100%, this is obviously not a good spot in terms of pace and scoring, overall scoring environment, and he's not fully healthy. Definitely consider the under. And you know Josh Hart's going to eat into the RA, and Miles McBride's gaining more of a role here and playing huge minutes. So, yeah. Makes sense. And then Magic side, I think, like I said, I assume all these guys are back because they just sat out for the last game to the back-to-back. But we can double check. All right, Gary Harris is good to go. Isaac's good to go. Okay, so Wendell's questionable. All right. If Wendell's out, Goga's a much better defender. Like whenever Goga was in, the defensive rating inside the paint for the Magic is much better, way lower. So I think that'll make it even harder for guys like Hartenstein to score and Precious. But I think their points are probably nerfed to the ground, right? 7.5 points. Might have to consider it though. and Precious is at 9.5 points. He can get lucky and hit at a corner 3 though. That's the thing about Precious. I feel better about Hartenstein. The only thing at Hartenstein where he'll get you is offensive rebound putback. But the Magic, pretty sure one of the top teams and leads the offensive rebounds allowed. We can double check that. Opponent offensive rebound. Yep. Kings are number 1. Magic number 2. Heat are number 3. Pistons 4. And Knicks 5. For those that are wondering or haven't seen these recent stats. But those are the top 5 teams allowing the least amount of offensive rebounds. Important things to consider if you're taking PR or anything rebound or points, especially for guys like primarily score off of second chance points like Clint Capella, Hartenstein. But yeah, could dice roll on it. I like it if Goga plays. And just do his minutes. Let's just quickly look at the history real quick. I mean, I recently saw it since Hartenstein came back from injuries. I've seen him airball little hook shots. Okay, so he played on January 15th, played 28 minutes, so probably about 8 more minutes than he'll play tomorrow. He had 7 points. Played in December, 25 minutes, 7 points. Yeah, man. It's right down the line, but I think he probably plays 20 minutes again here, just based on what he's been playing. So if Brunson plays, I'm down. Yeah, he'll play 22 minutes. Fading Herb Jones points, man. I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you.
I don't think anyone blames
that guy. He is one guy you cannot trust for scoring. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to throw that on there. How do you feel about that, Unrated? 20 minutes out of a guy who's shooting 4 times a game?
I was sitting here thinking, I was thinking about how you find your plays, and I was going, you're one of the main way you look for plays is you look at the matchup first, whereas most people don't. So you come to find plays like Isaiah Hartenstein. Whereas other people, they'd be like, the fuck is this dude doing? But it makes sense. It makes sense though, and like those are the ones you want to get, because you know those are the ones the bookies aren't really all the way on, because no one's betting them, you know. So those kind of ones intrigue me.
Yeah, and they're ones that, you know, it's like even money line, because the bookies don't really give a shit and they don't know how to set the line, so they're just like, yeah, whatever, minus 120, minus 115.
Yeah, because bro,
and they're not getting much traffic anyway. So
yeah, right there. So like you can sneak in and get, you know, they don't have that line as tight as it should be, because what? In comparison, 10% people bet that, 90% people bet Jason Tatum. So they're like, whatever.
Right. They care more about that. And then the other players, they'll set a pre-juice line, like a minus 130, minus 125 on what they think is like gonna draw attention to.
Yeah.
Or
mess with everyone's brain, because they know they want to take the over and cheer for their player they like. Disgusting.
Right.
Disgusting. Scam.
Okay. What game are left on the board here? Yeah, so we talked about Brunson. If he plays, you can consider his under, and if he plays, I like Hartenstein's under even more. And then if Wendell doesn't play, I like Hartenstein's under even more. And we don't have any Timberwolves Cavs because the T-Wolves aren't a back-to-back, and probably I'm sure Ant's gonna be questionable. Let me just double check. They don't have anything on the board for Timberwolves. We have Cavs. We can look at that. All right, we have nothing. Let's look at the Cavs. We don't have much. It's pretty limited.
You're gonna have to fit in some time tomorrow at 2 p.m.
Yeah, we'll try to get back on tomorrow for that. That game. Oh. I mean, I'll say it's. With capping out and how active Gobert was, I think it's a high stock upside for Jared Allen, especially with Mobley out. So depending on what his fantasy line is for Jared Allen, you can consider it. But, I mean, this is not a good scoring upside. But, I mean, Gobert is not immune to getting worked inside. I mean, he gets all this hype for being this stout defender. And, I mean, albeit the Timberwolves are number one rim defense in the league, but still, I've seen this dude get cooked a lot this season. So let's look at if we have odds on Jared Allen. So he's heavy juice on his under stocks at 2.5. Then his blocks, there's still plus blocks are 2.5, and then his block. There's somewhere to something under 1.5. Yeah, I mean, ever since Mobley's gone down and Donovan Mitchell's been out, he has taken on a huge role offensively. Okoro too, but this is just, I never attack Minnesota due to their pace and overall defense. I think McDaniels will probably be on. I'll see a lot of. They put him on shadow the best scoring potential of their team, so he'll probably switch off on Garland and be on LeVert a lot too. Not a good assist spot for any of these guys either. Jared Allen. Oh yeah. See. Oh, now they're dropping more props as we're talking. 1.5 turnovers. I don't like playing turnover routes. It's pretty interesting. And the assists. I want to check the potentials real quick. You know, this is a good, I feel like, assist spot for him. If he gets it down low and Gobert and others down low shut him down and he kicks it out. A lot of times, best way to beat Minnesota is on the perimeter and kick out. So let's see what his potentials were in the last 2 games with Donovan Mitchell out and Mobley. I feel like they were pretty high. I might be wrong though. Or maybe even just Azare, because with how much Gobert is going to shoot those little mid-range, and whenever he misses those, I mean, Jared Allen has a high chance of getting those rebounds.
So Mobley and Donovan Mitchell are out, right?
Yeah, extended time. Yeah.
So
serious injuries.
yeah, this is the only time Allen can get some assists, maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
Wrong matchup, right?
Overall assists, yes, but I think schematically he has a good opportunity to kick it out here just due to the interior defense.
Not points.
So yeah, I mean,
you don't want a PRA him, you want a RA him.
I mean, fantasy is what I always take for Jarrett, but yeah, he only had 3 potentials last game, converted on 3 of them.
Let me ask you this real quick. I was always wondering, do you take Jared Allen PRA first half and then take, if you liked it, I'm just saying, if it was a different matchup and you really wanted it, would you take his first half PRA and then tomorrow take his fantasy also? Or would you wait for his fantasy and take it tomorrow? As a general rule.
Yeah, I only take his first half PRA if it's at 16 or less. And then once it gets over that, I don't take it. Okay. And then the fantasy, I like it at 19.5 or 20. Sometimes it goes over 20, and that's just, in my opinion, way too high. So let's see if we even have it. That's his usual first half line with all these guys out. It's 9 points. Let's check what his first quarter points are. It's usually 4.5 when Mobley and Mitchell are up, or one or the other or both. Let's see. 4.5. Yep. Juice. Opening with the juice on the under for that. Yeah. I just in general don't attack Minnesota. Okay.
There you go.
In Minnesota, we're gonna have to wait and see what they do here on the back-to-back. Man, if we get Kyle Anderson points again, we gotta take the under.
Yes.
We took his under today. Second half, it was. I don't think we got a straight up points. Or if we did, it was like 15 minutes before lock. But we got a second half points at 4.5, and he scored what, 2 points?
2. Yep.
Yeah.
I've been
He did
taking.
not shoot at
I've
all.
been doing the head-to-head with him all season. It's been the best.
Yeah. And this is a terrible spot for him too. Yeah, I like it. Look out for that. And McDaniels, depending on what his fantasy is, I think you can definitely consider that. I mean, with Cat out today, he really got it done in the R8 department, and then he's gonna have a lot of stock upside here as well. So I just think they probably juice him after what he did today, and with all those guys out, and especially if they rest anyone on this back-to-back. So let's wait and see what we get for that. But yeah, I mean he led the team in assists. Isn't that crazy? McDaniels, 6 assists, 8 rebounds. He got his fouls as usual.
Conley's another.
Usually he gets go pick up stock here and there. He didn't have any stocks, but I could see him getting some stocks tomorrow against turnover prone Garland and Levert here. Let's just see what it is. As long as he can stop fouling. Yeah, I think he probably would have played more minutes. I think he got into early foul trouble.
McDaniels or Kyle?
McDaniels. I think Kyle, from what Finch said, the coach, he's still dealing with the hamstring problem that's been making him go in and out of the rotation. So I think they're not gonna run him a lot. So because he's been missing games here and there, and whenever he does play, even when he starts, he doesn't play that many minutes. Nasri did his thing today. I'm sure they're going to do some big time. His first half PRA was 10.5. I'm sure it's going to get juiced by 1 tomorrow, but he cleared that in the first quarter today. So if they open it at 10.5 and then bump it after that, you can definitely consider it's just not the best RA spot here in terms of pace and going against Jared Allen. But yeah, we'll see. Especially if Ant's questionable, you want to roll a dice, take Nas first half, and if Ant sits, he's gonna have crazy usage. So, all right. I just want to double check that we don't have any Timberwolves props. Okay. Yeah, I think you can consider Okoro. They haven't changed his points. It's been sitting at 12. The last games with Donovan Mitchell out, and then now with Mobley out, so they won't bump him up. And he's been really getting it done. Jimi Hendrix, do you play DFS NBA? So that's what I started with back. Gosh, I can't even remember. It's been so long. Yeah, I started with NBA DFS on DraftKings and FanDuel. And then over the last, I want to say 3 years, got into props and kind of stopped doing DFS. I still do DFS here and there, but it's ever since like they started doing all these optimizers, it's just like the build, because I always just like building by hand and like what I think the best players are. So, and when you're going against these optimizers that are spitting out like 150 lineups to optimize based on the pricing, because it's more about like the pricing and getting the optimal lineup based on the price, overall salary. It's just feel like you have your hands tied behind your back, and I just feel like the props are a little bit more fun because you're not going against those guys who are using all those optimizers to beat the odds. So. I have an account Bet365. Oh, nice. I go on there a lot. I can't bet on it here, but in California. But I like how they have a variety of sports. So a lot of the international sports. Okoro, he's really carrying the team as well offensively. So I mean, Levert's just not getting it done. He is just, he's going to take corner threes. He gets a lot of transition points, but he's not a guy I like to rely on scoring. With all these guys out, consider it. He's been really getting it done in the first half. Let's see if they still have him at 7 points. They've been taxing the first half. So they got him at 9.5 PRA. Oh wow! So they got Jared Allen at 16 flat, and I assume that's because his full game is nerfed down due to the matchup against Gobert. Andre, is there any news on the back-to-back here?
On what now?
On the Timberwolves, have they released anything?
Oh, like who's gonna play tomorrow or what?
Yeah, did they already put questionable tags? I have not looked.
Let me look. I always like to wait for RotoWire at 12. What is that? 5 minutes, and then they'll show them all. Who are you thinking about?
I just want to see if they already put any of the Timberwolves on a questionable tags being on the back-to-back,
you
especially Ant since he got injured early on in the game.
Look at it by the teams. I was seeing you do that.
But while you do that, nice. We got. All right, this game should be fun. Houston, Portland.
This is the game. Well, not really.
Love it. We got our boy Sengun here. He's on an absolute terror run, right?
Over.
I mean, he's had some favorable matchups, minus the Clippers. But I mean, this is a primo spot. I assume Ayton's still out. Sounded like he wasn't going to come back for a while, right?
Yeah, he's out. I think I'm looking right now too.
Yeah, so you got Dupe the Loop.
Yeah, he's doubtful.
Actually, Dupe is he's been getting it done on the offensive side. He can hit threes. He's a stretch big. He's not bad offensively, but he's horrible defensively. Especially athletic bigs who can take him on the dribble. Off the dribble, like he can't keep up, and they just take him to the rack.
Poor guy.
Yeah, Sengun, great spot. Awesome spot for a lot of these Rockets. Right?
Can we take Sengun
let's check the
over?
spread on it.
Can we take Sengun over tomorrow? Switch it up, unreverse it, unrevenge.
I mean, me personally, if you're building, I don't know what people's like, how they do the system, but if I was building 3 to 4 main core slips, like I would at least have exposure to each Rocket, the main Rocket dudes in each of the slip, because it's Portland and players just, all of them just go off, right? Because they're one of the worst defensive units alongside the Spurs and Pacers as of now, and Mavs.
I just realized that,
and it's in Portland. It's only 5-point spread.
No, I just wanted to say I realized that because you were talking about doing DFS before. Your mind works DFS style when you're looking for props on PrizePicks, and that's good on PrizePicks. Like that's a good way to look, because you talk about exposure all the time, It's like most people betting just want to find one play and be like, that's just not most people, I should say, but people who came from the betting side. But when you come from the DFS side, you're looking at the whole thing. You know what I mean? So you always be like, oh yeah, I get exposure to this guy and this guy. A lot of people just are like,
Right.
what are the two plays, bro? You know, they don't want to. Not that they don't want to, but it's just a different way to look at it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I try to always have like, depending on the slate size, when it's more than 5 games and it's in that sweet spot of like 8 to 10 games, like I try to have 3 or 4 main core cards, and then if I have a favorite team going against a team I like to attack, I'll just spread out the exposure. Or if I like one player a lot, I'll just spread out the exposure to their props, because sometimes I like multiple props for that one individual player. So if you're able to do that, but if you're using a single bullet, then you just need to decide on one, then that's when you got to really get into nitty gritty and try to really isolate that one core play and player from that team. I'll say that the best way to attack Portland is inside the interior, like I said, with Duke and Jabari Walker being so bad defensively. So yeah, Sengun makes total sense here. It's only a 5-point spread, and it's in Portland. I think you could take full game lines here and not have to risk the first half and early foul trouble or anything like that. I think Portland can hang. I mean, they just hung with OKC at Portland. Pretty much kept the game close to through the fourth. So, I think Vegas thinks the same thing. Only 5-point spread. And Van Vliet's been killing it with his fantasy. Jalen Green as well. So their fantasy is definitely live. Sengun, what is his points at? $22.5. Yeah, the PR. I like the PR. I think it's just a really good rebound spot. The only problem is when Jabari has these massive spike rebound games, and it just totally kills Sengun. So sometimes Jabari will have like these 12 to 14 rebounds, and then Sengun will have like 5. It's pretty annoying. That's the only drawback with taking anything Sengun rebound related.
His PRA. Do you think his PRA feels decent because his assists? I mean, he has games where he has 2 assists, but then he has games where he got a triple double. Like what?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I would just say the PRA. But yeah, I mean, look at that. 17 potentials last game. He converted on 14 of them.
Right.
That's a pretty high conversion. High conversion rate for sure. Let's look over the last 3 games.
But that's what you're going to find with his assists, bro. He hasn't been doing it at all until that last game.
Yeah. It's always... majority of the time it's Van Vliet, right? And then sometimes Jalen Green will have spike assists, and then Eamon Thompson when he's in off the bench. I tell you, he's been killing it. He's gonna be going against the second unit of Portland, which is like the scrub of the scrubs, is Cam Whitmore. He's been sitting at 10.5 or 11.5 points. I'm sure it's gonna be 11.5 in this matchup.
Yeah. But
Udoka likes the kid, and he gives him a longer leash and more minutes in the second half when he comes out in his first stint in the first half and he's playing well. And he's been crushing it in the second half when all the starters are out.
Yeah.
For that stint. So I like him. He's very active defensively too. He's actually, I mean, for a rookie, like most rookies struggle defensively. Like he was giving Paul George and Harden some problems in that recent matchup. I went back and rewatch a lot of the highlights because I wanted to see why Paul George was missing everything from Harden. Yeah, see this. This is when he's most productive. Is in this third quarter, last minutes of the third quarter. A lot of the starters go out, and yeah, he gets most games he gets it done here. Let's see this. Was it the Spurs? He just like completely wrecked it. And I'm looking at Ian Thompson. Sorry. Just open the fourth. Look at this. I mean, the usage was just crazy. I mean, he took like almost 10 field goal attempts here, and Udoka left him out there. He's leaving him out there a large portion of the fourth now. So I like him.
How many games in a row has he done that? Like, played a good amount of minutes. Like, can we feel good about the minutes for sure? Because if we do,
no,
okay. I was about to say he might have found one, but yeah, if he's not secure with the minutes, it's always still scary.
Yeah, but his minutes are completely contingent upon his production. So if he's not being productive, he's not gonna get the points anyway, right? But whenever he's playing well, Udoka leaves him out there longer. Or if the starters are playing terrible, he runs the bench unit more. So he's really performance based coach. But yeah, back to Sengun. Let's see what against centers lately what they've been really showing. Yeah, see, mainly it's just the points, right? Like nothing standing out like RA wise or stock wise. They dupe, and Jabari just can't stop the scoring. So yeah, you just take the straight up points. And what have they been doing against point cards here in fantasy wise? Giving up a lot of stocks.
Is Sengun gonna bump?
I don't know what's the odds.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just saying in general. I'm gonna look. Actually, that's a good point. I was just wondering.
I doubt it. I mean it's already like one higher than what he's normally posted at, right? He's always 21.5.
Okay.
When so he opens that.
Just from his last game and this matchup, obviously.
In this matchup, it's primo matchup, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm worried it might go up, just because people will look at that last game and be like, "Oh my god." Let's see.
Yeah, I'm gonna look out for Van Vliet's fantasy. It's been sitting at 35.5 or 36.5. I imagine it's gonna be 36.5 in this matchup, and then Jalen Green. Let's see what his first half PRA is. It's been 13.5 for 14.
Yeah, Sengun's just minus 110, so it might bump, but not crazy probably.
Yeah, 14. Okay. Last thing I want to check. Okay, so they played end of January. Sengun had almost 55 fantasy, 30 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 steal. So 48 PRA, crushed the PRA line, right? Who was in and out? Who was in? Who was out? This was in Houston, and Houston actually lost. So Grant played, and Grant's back, so that's good. Ayton played. He won't be in. Simons played, and then Brogdon played. And everyone that we just talked about had themselves a game, right? Jalen Green had 29 points. Van Vliet definitely went over the fantasy. He had 6 stocks. He had 3 steals, 3 blocks, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. Man, did he crush fantasy.
I don't usually like Van
And
Fleet,
Sengun had
but
55.
Van Fleet's been coming through lately, huh?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Udoka loves him.
Van Fleet might be a play tomorrow.
Yeah, hopefully don't juice him too much, man, because
They might.
yeah, he had 51 fantasy. Crushed it. Yeah, let's look out for his fantasy. And then Sengun, yeah, PRA or points. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, you can rely on Jalen Green. I will say, the Rockets lately, they've been giving it up to point guards. They're number 2 right now over the last 15 games, and especially since All-Star break. Yeah, they're over the last 7 games, number 1 in points allowed to point guards. A lot of it could be just based on the teams that they play, but I mean, even if you stretch it back 15 games, they're number 2. So I think, I mean, you saw Simons had 33 points on him about a month ago. I think, let's see what his line is. I think if you wanted to stack this game, and I hope it stays close and take him, 27.5 points. I mean, with Grant back, I don't know.
That is
How you feel about that,
so
Marie?
high.
That's an uncomfortable clip.
That is so high, bro.
I thought it was gonna be. To be honest, bro, I thought it was gonna be 25.5, 24.5, 27.5.
I was thinking 22.5. Jeez. Not really, but 27.5 is crazy.
Sheesh. I don't know, guys.
That makes me
I
want to
don't
go
know.
under.
No.
Not saying I want to, but I want to.
God, I mean, his usage in, like, especially in the second half, even with Grant back, was crazy, man. Like, this dude is. Led the team still in usage with Grant back, 26.8% usage. Look at this third quarter. My gosh. Okay, well, never mind, guys. I thought it was going to be a lower point. But I mean, that point line is almost as if, like, Grant was out, right?
That's insane.
I mean, is Grant questionable again?
I don't know. Let's see. He's game time decision.
He is.
All right.
Yeah, he is. Oh,
Perfect. Take the under.
under
Yeah.
what? No, Grant could be out.
I know. But if you take the under and he's in, you win. That number is with Grant out. No? That's why you were like, man, that's 27.5. That is too high. That's because they're thinking Grant's out, right?
I don't know. Yeah, they might have, like, baked it into the line already,
A little bit. Looks like.
just in case.
Yep.
But it's kind of weird because usually when a key guy is questionable, they'll only put that guy who's actually questionable on the board and not put his supporting key guys on the board. Jabari Walker is iffy. That's big news. That's even more of a defender, one less defender in the front court. Not that he was a good one, but serviceable. Makes Sengun even more optimal here. Okay. Sorry, I went down the rabbit hole there on on a beautiful Rocket Portland game, which brings back good memories. Every year at the end of the season, we love Portland games for props. It's just even. I mean, if you play DFS, man, it's beautiful because you get such good value, and the games are so. There's no defense, and there's just so much stocks and turnovers and rebound galore. Yeah. So, Fanfleet's fantasy, Sengun's PRA. You can even take a stab at Jalen Green's scoring potential if you wanted. Do we have RA for any of these guys?
Only on Fliff.
Yeah, of course we only get Jalen Green. Thanks, PrizePicks. Okay.
Who would you want, Van Fleet?
Yeah, Van Vliet or Sengun, either one. But I mean, if I had to choose, I mean, if Van Vliet is at 12.5 or less.
It always feels good to go against the Blazers.
Always.
11.5 Van Fleet, minus 110.
Wow.
Sengun, yeah.
It's weird they have to choose under.
Sengun 15.5, minus 140. It's not bad either. Feels a little high, but just from his last few games, or his last game, doesn't sound that crazy. But it's Portland.
Yeah, it's a little high just due to the fact that Jabari's always there to eat into the rebounding.
Van Fleet better? You like Van
But I
Fleet
imagine
better?
those last two games that Sengun's rebound chances have been crazy, so just double check.
I feel like you like Van Fleet better.
Yeah, look at Sengun, bro. Over the last two games, 26.5 rebound chances.
That's crazy.
Jabari only 6.5, which is wild because Jabari used to be up there, like top 2 with Sengun. That's a great rebounding spot. And if Jabari is out, I mean, Jabari hands down is the with Ayton out their best rebounder
Right.
on the team. And it sounds like he's iffy, leaning towards more doubtful. Like, that's one less rebounder out there. They should have a field day. I wish we had fantasy right now, but what are you gonna do? Looks like we only have one more game on the at least that's on the board, right?
Yeah. They're not giving you smashes that you want, though. You want it. You like a few, but they're holding out. It feels like a little bit.
Yeah, but we have the Bucks, Lakers, and that's it. That's the last one on the. That's at least on the board. And what's available? Is Giannis questionable again with the Achilles tendonitis?
Of course.
They gotta be careful with that, man. That's why Dre Greenlaw in the Super Bowl tore his Achilles because he dealt with that tendonitis all season, caught up to him.
Oh yeah, he's probable. Yeah, that Greenlaw was sad.
Yeah, he's dealing with the same thing Giannis is dealing with right now. And then Pop. Well, in Underdog, we got Giannis' 3-point prop. Makes sense. Let's check his 3-point prop volume real quick. See why he's making more threes. Is he just more efficient, or is he just increase his volume? Maybe because he's dealing with the Achilles issue, so he's maybe less aggressive driving. Let's see. Nothing crazy. He's just efficient lately. It's just hitting him. No increase in volume. Okay. I'm sure we won't get Dame's 3-point prop.
They came out of the All-Star break trying to win.
They are. They are. And Bobby's playing really well off the bench now. Yeah, he was really struggling early in the season.
Dame too was having some shitty, not good games. Been good since the All-Star break.
Yeah, it's just his scoring whenever Giannis plays. It's just all over the place, right? So
Yeah.
it's a really good spot for him. We like attacking the Lakers with perimeter shooting here, but let's before we get off, let's check the potentials since Giannis has been back. And, all right, they're splitting it up evenly. Pretty much, it looks like. Do we have Giannis's assists? Nope. Just get the Goblin and Demon.
That is so.
What is in the book?
Those are so nasty.
Is it 5.5 with juice on the over? I assume that's why we're not getting it.
Let's look. Probably. Ooh,
Oh no, it's 6.5. So maybe it was 5.5, and then it got so much action on it that it bumped. Like on the books.
I don't know. Whatever it is, it's too high.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Sad truth is that Sengun and Van Fleet are the best, the most comfortable clicks today so far.
Oh, Portland? For sure, bro.
Yeah.
For sure. Man, AD, no thank you. You don't know what AD you're going to get. And LeBron, he's really turned it on, right?
He's the man, but dang, it's high.
All his lines are so juiced, bro. So
They're daring you to go under. Never.
well, I'm sure some people in our community will.
Not naming any names, money.
And yeah, and this game is in LA. He shoots usually pretty efficient from three at home, but lately his three he was on fire for a bit from three, but he's taking a dip lately. But he's been killing, man. He's been absolutely murdering the assists lately, and I think a big reason is that since the All-Star break, the Lakers, believe it or not, have been top 2 offensive rating, one of the most efficient offenses. So making a shot. $69 potentials. No one's close. And I'm sure we don't have his list, right? Oh, we do. 8.5. It was much better when it's been sitting at 7.5, right? But
they're daring you. Anyone takes LeBron.
It's right there on the line, man.
Ooh, it's hard.
It's right there. I mean, because he's averaging, with the assists, we always want the 2-to-1 ratio. We want the potential to be twice as much as the assists, because the players aren't going to shoot over 50% on average. So we convert them. So it's right there on the line. Maybe the PA. Maybe the PA. And then D'Lo, I never play him. I know he went on that stretch where he's on a heater, but too streaky for me. Too streaky.
He shit the bed last game, huh?
Yeah, I mean, that's D'Lo for you, though, man. AR-15's been stepping it up lately, especially with his RA. Curious to see what we get it at. I don't see it anywhere right now. He's on a good stretch right now, and then Rory is coming off that big game, but yeah, I don't want to trust. I can't trust him for scoring. Anything else here that I missed? If you guys got anything that are still watching, let me know. Nothing right now. Jumping out besides the stuff we talked about. And yeah, we talked about. Sorry, some of the stuff we don't just have. I tend to like fantasy, and that's why we don't get it in before, because it just gives you somewhat of a better edge. Because PrizePicks is just calculating the fantasy based on the PRA stats a lot of times and their average stock potential. But if you come up with your own projection model and you can project what you think based on the minutes and their average fantasy point per minute, and then you to the matchup, you can get somewhat of an edge there for the fantasy, especially if you can project the minutes and usage better. So, but for now, we'll just say guys like Denny or Kuzma's fantasy, but we'll just put a PRA here for now. Either one, separate slips in a good spot here. And honor of one of our community members on Discord, Nugget, we call him. He said Giannis is gonna keep making those threes, so good 3-point spot for him. And Hartenstein under points if Wendell's out and we got Goga starting for defensive purposes, and I like it even more if Brunson's playing. And Sengun's PRA, and then we're gonna wait on Van Fleet's fantasy, and then can definitely take a stab at Jalen Green's points or Cam Whitmore's points. And anything else that we talked about for this? Oh, someone brought up a good point about Clint's scoring upside here and his rebound potential. So let's add that. Good spot for him here. Then I'll zoom in and we'll go over a recap. And I'm just going to put Van Vliet's PRA in here as a placeholder for fantasy. Yeah, Clint's PR is decent value right now because DK has him at 21.5. I don't know what he's at on other sites. Pinnacle usually doesn't drop all their lines until usually in the morning. There's not much juice on the under, and we're getting at 20.5. That one discount can really matter for things like PR, that one extra rebound, and especially guys that have low shot volume and low scoring. I'm going to check. Let's see if Okoro's going to bump at all. He should be good. Wow, they say Herb Jones is 10.5 on DK, and we're getting PrizePicks giving it 11.5. Yeah, I'm good on that. All right, let's recap this. So we like Denny or Kuzma's fantasy upside. We just have PRA here as a placeholder because we don't have fantasy the night before. Clint's points or PR. I think they're both decent value. I mean, he's 10.5 points at least on DK right now. Let's see when the Pinnacle drops in other books, but I think there was some. Yeah, he's minus 130 on under on that. So I get why it's 9.5, but the PR, we're getting a 1 PR discount. Great scoring, rebound upside here against Memphis. And then Sengun PRA in this matchup against Duke, and then potentially Jabari Walker being out. So one less glass cleaner for Portland. And Van Vliet, we have his PRA as a placeholder, but we usually like to take his fantasy because he has stock, always has high stock upside. And then on top of that, it's Portland, and they turn over at a high clip, especially when you have these bench guys in just trying to make the team. And when he racks up, 8+ assists, that's 1.5 fantasy per assist, and so that really adds up fantasy wise. So I always like to take his fantasy anytime I take his prop lines or his RA. And then one of our community members has a strong feeling on Giannis to keep up his efficient 3-point shooting. Good spot. Lakers top 3 and catch and shoot threes. Point made allowed. So if Giannis keeps it up. Our boy called Sabonis making a 3 today, and he did. So let's see if he continues his predictions right here. Good old Nugget. And then we had LeBron. I can't put it on here, but we had LeBron's PA or his assist upside. And I think that's it as of right now. Did I miss anything underrated? Everyone over? Oh, Hartenstein under points. Yep, as well. I'm with it.
Hartenstein under points.
If I would say if Goga starts in and then Brunson's out in, and then if Brunson's in, he's at 100%. You want to roll the dice and hope that he's not 100%. Yeah, take the under points of PRA. It's a low total. I think someone brought it up in chat, so I don't mind it. And dunk props. Let's look out for Miles, Jarrett, Allen. I'm gonna stay away from against Rudy. They took his dunk prop away right away after they posted it. He's always live for dunks, but against Jarrett, 2.5. And we still get to all the matchups here because I've been tracking dunks. It's not an easy stat to find, but you gotta really track it game to game. Yeah, that's it for tomorrow. Really, we usually get Miles Bridges 0.5 dunk. I think the Wizards give up a dunk to him here, and we took the same prop against them recently with Bankero, and he got it done. Just do the pace and how much transition points to give up. Before we get off, anyone watching this before the game starts tonight? Aussie. And they took it down. Okay. Never mind. So I like Bryce Cotton's 3.5 assists. By the way, I watch all these games for Aussie. So if you have any questions or anything like that, you can give some insight. I would watch it every night it's on. We're in the playoffs now. So I know these teams pretty well. Bryce Cotton plays the entire game. The MVP of the league this year, the points leader this year. In the playoffs now, first game of the playoff. It's a 3-game series. This is game 1 at home. You can always take his points. I like the assist at 3.5 just because he dominates the ball handling and always has the ball and plays the entire game pretty much. But they took it down. His PRA is a little high. I don't want to rely on the rebounding. He can't get rebounds with how small he is, but at this point I would just take his points. He gets the free throw line with the head clip. Jordan Usher is a bench guy, comes off the bench, he's a bench spark plug. They bumped it down, it was 12.5. I'll still take the under. He's a bad 3-point shooter. If he gets lucky, then from 3 today, so be it. But he averages about 0.83 point made on the season. They usually have his 1.5 or 0.5 3-point made. And then the only thing is that if Ty Webster gets in foul trouble, Usher gets more minutes. That's the only sweat. Ty Webster has been getting in foul trouble a lot, so that's the only problem. Tough matchup though here. The Jack numbers are pretty good defensively, so don't mind it. And then Will Magnay is the starting center now, coming off a career game, almost scored 30 points. The starting center he's traditionally the backup center. The starting center Marcus Lee went down with an injury. Expect big minutes from him. He crushed Perth Wildcats this year. In both meetings off the bench in limited minutes, 17 to 20 minutes, he averaged about 25 PRA. He had 13 points and 17 points in both meetings. His PRA is at 22.5. With Australian basketball, it's hard to trust rebounding. It can fluctuate so much. You get, but with him, he is going to be down low, getting a lot of the boards. So I would say the PRA. But now that they bumped the points down because they reduced on the under, maybe there's better value on the 13 points. Hinder, who he's going against, is no one to worry about. He's really soft, and Magnay is a bruiser, kind of big. And Doolittle, all he's good for and what he's out there to do is rebound and play defense, and he'll score here and there. His rebounds is normally 7.5. It's not the best rebounding spot, and I don't really like taking rebounds, like I said, in Australian ball. But I mean, this guy, that's what he's out there, like I said, to do, and he has multiple double-digit rebound games. And that's just because the starting center Pinder is just not a good rebounder. And it's stretched out to the perimeter a lot. So I think it's worth a shot. His PRA got bumped down 18 flat, but his scoring can be so up and down, especially with Cotton dominating the usage. So if you need a filler piece, if you're building like a flex 5-pick flex or something, just straight Aussie tonight, I think it's a solid filler piece. And lastly, for Jack jumpers, I like Jack McVay when he's at home. He's on the road today, but he is the leader of the team. Like, a lot of people say it's Doyle, but it's McVay. He's the vocal leader, so he's gonna do everything he can here to carry the team. But yeah, I only take him at home. And Jordan Crawford is one of the smallest guards, and he's just your traditional shooter, a streaky shooter. He's either gonna score 2 points or 20. In fact, the last time he played Perth, he scored 0. And then the meeting before that, he scored over 20. So it's a complete dice roll with him. I usually just stay away from him. And Doyle, some games he is just like the floor general and playmaking, not even looking to score. In other games, when they need him to, he steps it up and is attacking the basket relentlessly. So Both those guys, yeah, I mean, they're hard to call. I usually just like to take Jack McVay when they're at home, so I'm gonna stay away from those. But I think Magne is probably the best spot here, and I think with it being playoffs, I think Doyle's gonna have to step it up, especially on the road here. I wouldn't just take his straight up points, but I would consider his PRA because he's gonna play make, and he can snag you 4 or 5 rebounds here. So if I was gonna take anything for him, it'd be the PRA. They did have his 1.5 3-point up earlier, and they took it down. I was gonna suggest that as well. But yeah, that's about it. Yeah, I definitely like Cotton in the playoffs here. He is the face of the league, so see if he gets it done. All right, guys, try to be back on tomorrow. Once we get more props, once we get those fantasy props, once we get those dunk props, once we get the free throw props, those are the props I look for right when I wake up and we get that board, the fresh board. Those are the 3 categories I look for because as of right now, in my opinion, that's the only edge we can get on price, especially on PrizePicks for people that don't have access to books. Those are kind of props that like kind of make PrizePicks unique, and I feel like the only thing that keeps them appealing at this point, because I mean they just limit us with all the different prop lines, right? They either juice them before we can get to them, or they remove them, and so I think the only edge we can get are those type of props that are only on PrizePicks and not in books, so or limited to other books. So fantasy, dunks, free throws, first half lines, right? So yeah, those are stuff I look out for. So once we get those, look them over, try to get back on sometime in the afternoon. Hopefully, before bumps happen too much. But yeah, I'm thinking try to always shoot for at least 2 to 3 hours before lock. For anyone that's watching and any new people around, definitely come back.
One last thing, bro. You have one last question. Can you do Vince over 5.5 assists? And then we'll let you go. What do you think?
Oh, someone brought that up. Yeah, I wanted. Thank you for I wanted to check his potentials. And Jared Jackson's officially questionable, right? So is Kennard questionable because he's always in and out, right?
Yeah. Exactly. I think he might be out, but let me look. Yeah, he's doubtful. So that's big.
That's one less shooter, right? To convert.
That's true.
That kind of sucks, right?
I guess. I was thinking more like his potentials, but I guess, yeah, he hasn't been doing that. So, yeah, you're right.
Nah, bro. Like, yeah, he came back he's in and out of the rotation. I mean, just like Jaren because they're in tank mode. And that first game back, he came back recently. He went off in 3 and had like 25 points. Big reason why Vince had
those 9 assists.
Had so many
game before.
Last game. That's why Vince, I think, had 9 assists.
Yeah.
I don't want to just say that off the top of the head. Let me actually confirm that. This is another good thing to look at. You can either look at individual games, or you can actually look at the stats here. You can actually see, you can track who's converting. If you're into assists, and I think assists are great prop lines because you can find edges and matchups, and it's more like schematic based. Whereas like scoring, a lot of times scoring is just it's just a lot more variance. It's like are they making their shots or not, right? But assists you can kind of get more into the actual scheme matchup and schemes here. So if you go to tracking, you go to the passes dashboard under the player profile, you can actually see who they're passing to the most and who's converting the most from their passes. So it's just showing for Vince Williams, and this is on the season. So most of his passes are going to Jaren Jackson and Jaren Jackson is accounting for majority of his assists at 0.8. And Santi looks like he's second.
Your favorite?
And he is not a fun one to trust for scoring, right? But let's check that last game where he had 9 assists. That was yesterday, right?
Yep.
So we can go to the box score and NBA.com, and we can actually NBA.com. It actually has like a lot of like kids stats and stuff that are actually nice, and because it's all free. Because you can pay for what is it? Some of the sites that have the advanced stats, like what's that Glass website? They charge like per month. It's like membership. But if you get all their box scores are interactive, so you can click on the individual stat line, and it'll show you how the play too. So, yep, Kennard counted for 3 of his assists. No, yeah, 3, and then looks like it was Aldama and Kennard, pretty much, right? So 6 of the 9 assists were to Kennard and Aldama, and then 1, and then spread out the rest of the team. Yeah, that sucks not having Kennard, man. But hopefully GG can make his shots.
Oh, jeez.
And we'll see if Triple J plays. How about this? I'll say, to answer that question, I'll say I feel better about it if Triple J plays. Because then he's passing. Then we know he has some viable guy he's passing to. If Triple J and Kennard are out,
Yeah. Yep. I feel it.
yeah, look who he's passing to. Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. Yeah, that's something to think about. Like, sometimes when we want to jump on assists because we're like, oh, this guy's out, that guy's out, this guy's out. Like, he's going to be playmaking. But then at the same time, it's like, okay, that player that's out is he also a scorer? Like, is he a guy that you need out there to convert? So, I don't know. I sometimes overlook that too. I'm like, oh man, this guy's out. When you have like 2 guards that share the distribution, but they kind of rely on each other and they pass to each other a lot. Yeah, but I mean, Vince, he is just playmaking more so than he is shooting. Some games he'll have spike scoring, but most of the time he's not looking to score that much. He's looking to set the offense and be a true wing and D and play defense. So, and yeah, it's the Hawks, but their defense seems a little. I need to dive into them. They seem a little different lately since Trae Young's been out. Maybe it's just the teams they play, but they don't seem the same track meet, high pace, bad defense team. But I have to look into that a little bit more. All right, guys. Be back tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow afternoon. And till then, good luck, and we'll catch you tomorrow.